Control oil and you control nations. Control food and you control people. That was the warning of Henry Kissinger. But today, there is something even more powerful: water. Because when you control water, you control survival itself. And right now, on one of the world's most important rivers, that control may be shifting. Ethiopia is not just building one dam on the Nile, it is planning 3 more. And Egypt, the country that once vowed to fight over a single dam, is no longer reacting the same way. So what changed? Is this just development or a calculated power move? Stay with me, because the truth behind Ethiopia's new dams reveals a much bigger shift than most people realize. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Geopolitics at the Land of Origins. The Nile is not just a river for Egypt, it is survival. Over 90% of Egypt's freshwater comes from it, and most of that water originates upstream in Ethiopia. This geographic reality has always created tension, but it became explosive when Ethiopia began constructing the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Egypt saw a direct threat to its water security, while Ethiopia saw a historic opportunity to generate electricity and drive development. For years, the situation remained locked in negotiations, warnings, and diplomatic pressure. Now, Ethiopia has introduced a new development: plans for 3 additional dams on the Blue Nile. This is not a minor update, it is a major escalation. Each new dam increases Ethiopia's ability to control water flow, produce energy, and influence downstream countries. In effect, Ethiopia is moving from a participant in the Nile system to its most powerful actor, and that changes everything. But the deeper story may not be about energy alone, it may be about leverage. Because at the same time Ethiopia is strengthening its control over the Nile, it is also intensifying efforts to gain access to the Red Sea. For a landlocked country, that access is not just economic, it is geopolitical. And this is where the connection becomes critical. Control over water upstream can translate into influence downstream. It can shape negotiations far beyond the river itself. As Niccolo Machiavelli once said, "He who controls the resources controls the power." Ethiopia controls the source of the Nile, and that position may now be driving a broader strategic play. Egypt, on the other hand, appears to be adjusting. Instead of direct confrontation, there are growing signs of diplomatic engagement and strategic recalibration. This does not mean Egypt has abandoned its concerns. It means the situation has changed. Stopping one dam was already difficult. Facing multiple large-scale projects upstream presents a far more complex challenge. As Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. If Ethiopia can reshape the balance of power without triggering conflict, then it has already altered the rules of the game. This situation is no longer just about 2 countries. The Nile affects an entire region, and the Red Sea is one of the world's most critical trade routes. What we are witnessing may be part of a broader geopolitical transformation, one that connects water security, energy, and global commerce. Ethiopia is no longer simply a landlocked nation seeking development. It is positioning itself as a strategic player, linking inland resources with regional influence. At its core, this is a story about how geography becomes power. For decades, Egypt held a strong position as the downstream country, heavily dependent on the Nile, but politically influential. Now, upstream control is shifting that balance. It introduces a new reality, one where water becomes a tool of negotiation rather than just a shared resource. So, is Egypt being forced to back down? Not exactly, but it may be adapting to a new reality, one where Ethiopia's influence over the Nile is stronger than ever before. The announcement of 3 new dams is not just about infrastructure. It is a signal that the balance of power along one of the world's most important rivers is shifting, and when that balance shifts, everything else follows. If you found this analysis insightful, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with others, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below.